What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I want to talk to you about Virgin Galactic, ticker is SPCE. I want to give you a breakdown of some of the data points, technicals, and potentially how low I see things going. Before I get into any of that though, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that, let's get right to it. Currently down 5.37%, a little bit lower for volume, so 5.7 million shares being traded, 18.9 is the average. At the time of doing this video, there hasn't been any actual recent news. There was this that did come out on the 14th that I'll touch on in a second, but other than that, no SEC filings. And this news is essentially just them talking on their 5th space flight set to, or at least the window to open on October the 5th. So in reality, I think that's kind of good. Despite the price action, you gotta give it to them that they are very consistent with their operations. So once they do start to charge a little bit more for each of the seats essentially, then this is where it will definitely help bigger picture. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. But like I mentioned, with the lower volume, just big money and also retail is taking a very notable step back. So that's something just to kind of consider and watch, because even at the same time, a lot of articles are starting to come out and talking on how much they are physically burning through on cash on a quarterly basis, but yet only projected to earn roughly about $1 million in Q3 and $1 million in Q4. I know I've brought this up in the past, but literally this is why it is trending down, because of that reason. No other fundamental reason other than how much they're burning through and not really earning. And technically, even based on the latest Morningstar report, it does show the fair market value, which is based on their assets, is $4.04. So clearly it is well below its intrinsic value because of a lot of people factoring in on how much they are physically burning through. So once again, just be kind of aware of that. And also on the side note, while I am on Interactive Brokers, there hasn't been any recent analyst ratings, the last being 19 days ago from Triest. I've already covered that in a video, and no real changes for analyst forecasts. If you are looking for a lot of good compiled information such as this, take a look at Interactive Brokers for all of this to be completely free. So take advantage of that. But one thing to really bring up that I have saw some people talking about is this. These are all the transactions that have occurred on the dark pool today. Well, essentially there's been no transactions today, but these are all the transactions that did occur on Friday. And there was one that people are talking about, 17.9 million. But a lot of people are very optimistic about that one transaction, but yet the closer we get to the end of the quarter, so there's roughly around 2 weeks left, and the closer you get to that, the more rebalancing you do see occurring from institutions. So I feel like that 17.9 million is most likely either BlackRock, Vanguard, one of the big names that is in the market, just rebalancing their portfolio to potentially increase or decrease Virgin Galactic. Because when it comes down to dark pool, you typically never really know what is buys or what is sell, because you don't see the bid or the ask. Versus when it comes down to the secondary market, you kind of see some of the transactions, right? You see the bid, you see the ask, and then you see the selling price. So you can clearly tell that this transaction that did occur on September the 7th was a sell. So once again, that's kind of a little bit more of a backstory. But starting off with some of the data points. Today, there is $98,000 in calls being purchased versus $749,000 in puts. So based on this information, people are still anticipating for this to really just trend down and break down. So when I did see this, this is also one of the reasons why I felt it was justified to do a video on how low potentially this could go based on this information. Similarly though, looking as far as what shorts are doing, I'll give you an overview of that. So short score is currently 72, utilization is 76.65%, and as of right now, shorts are increasing 977,000 shares, 18.89% of the free float is being shorted, 63.11 million shares overall are being shorted, and then cost to borrow average is 2.73%. So when it comes down to this, the way I analyze it is them increasing almost 1 million shares on a very much red day. It shows that they feel A, is justified, and B, that they do continue, or at least assume that it is going to continue to trend down. So you have kind of two negative things, one of which is shorts, the second being the actual options activity. So kind of interesting stuff. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. But the real question is, how low could this potentially go? Based on this, as far as looking here, it is well below all the pivotal moving averages. It is in the lower percentile of the Bollinger Band, and also the volume is reducing. So not necessarily looking the best right now, but looking at far as some of the fib levels right now, with it being at $1.94, it is below this S2. So currently trading between this S3 and this S2. So $1.29 is going to be that very strong next support level. Vice versa, $1.97. So it's not down and out today. It still could kind of crawl back into this S2 to this S1. But generally, I do feel the trend is kind of set for Virgin Galactic. So I do feel it most likely will trend to around this $1.30 mark. But I do feel that given the circumstances and how much they're burning through, it actually might, oddly enough, break below that. So I feel that a low this time around will be around $1. Because at that stage, I feel like there will be a lot of good intrinsic value. And by then it might be kind of within Q4 already. So I see this occurring most likely around either October or November potentially, but I see $1 being the low at least for this round based on the technicals. Then hopefully from there it'll bounce off of that and trend higher. But keep in mind, a lot of these videos, it is just a lot of short-term stuff, because if you do believe in Virgin Galactic bigger picture, then this is where in theory you'll be making a lot of money, assuming they do what they say they're going to do by 2024 or potentially 2025. Because like I mentioned, you got to give it to them, they are very, very consistent with their operations. So once they do start to charge a little bit more, and potentially, especially with obviously that S3 that did come down the pipeline, they'll be able to have two functioning machines, or I guess ships essentially, and they can earn a lot more money. And of course, in time, reduce the actual cost of the tickets, and that'll just increase the supply and demand model a little bit more and kind of boost the sales. Hopefully a lot more than that 1 million that is estimated for Q3, and then 1 million for Q4. So let me know your thoughts on that. Do you think that it is going to go down to $1, or do you think that is absolutely crazy and too low? What's your kind of take on all of that in the comments below? But like I mentioned, looking here, number of retail investors are getting out and have been getting out, similar to institutions. So a lot of people aren't really willing to get into Virgin despite the discounted value well below its intrinsic value. Looking at Stochastic though, it is also at 12, which is considered very oversold. But despite that though, there is a odd bullish sentiment starting to form right now. So kind of interesting stuff. Let me know your thoughts on Virgin Galactic, and give yourself a shout out if you have been buying or selling over the last little bit. What's your kind of take on all of this? And as well, like I mentioned, do you think that there is ever going to be a short squeeze? Because shorts are really ingrained in Virgin Galactic's day-to-day life for the most part. So do you think that there is ever going to be a short squeeze when it comes down to them? Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And one final thing I just wanted to share with you, take advantage of this promo. Just sign up for an account with Moomoo, throw $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock can be valued at $2,000. So that is one of the best deals, only up until September the 30th. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said though, I appreciate you all watching, and let's eventually down the line make a lot of money with Virgin Galactic.